welcome to the Cyber Show. I'm Cheri Sigmund, your host, cybersecurity authority, entrepreneur, and consultant. Tonight we have a very special guest with us, Mr. Derek Eurales Jr.
Hey.
Say hi, Derek.
Hey, how you doing, Cheri?
Doing great. I'm so glad you can make the time to come on. I really appreciate it. You're looking very sharp there.
Yeah, and you know what? I'll have to tell you, I came on an hour early because I was like, wait a minute, is it supposed to be now? And so I came on and I was like, Cheri, I'm here. And then I looked again and I was like, oh man, I'm an hour early. So better early than late. So then I just had to go away and do a couple other things and then come back. So, but I'm glad to be here though.
And that's a great life lesson because, I mean, yeah, it's better to be early than late. You never want to show up late to the party. And this whole thing about being fashionably late, that's only for like Hollywood parties.
Not late to the party.
There's no fashionably late.
No, and not late to dinner either.
Ever that, right? I hear you, Derek. All right, folks. Well, Derek is a sales and leadership coach. He's a best-selling author, a veteran, international speaker, and also an entrepreneur out of the Nashville metro area. I'm based out of the Charlotte metro area. So how are things going in Nashville right now, Derek?
Going good. Going good. The sun is shining. The birds are chirping. The sun is going down, though. But, I mean, hey, we're doing good here.
Good. So everybody that you know is okay with the pandemic and all that?
Yeah, we're trying to get back to some semblance of normal. I've got some of my clients who are still, still have some forms of like the quarantine stuff, but for the most part, we're trying to get back to some kind of normalcy there. So yeah.
And as you and I both know, being veterans, we've like gone places and deployed places and come back to what we call the world. We catch that freedom bird back to the world. And so we're familiar with this concept of the new normal, because once you're overseas and there's nothing like normal, you come back to the world with the freedom bird and then it's the new normal. So I kind of laugh when I hear people talking about the new normal like it's something new.
Yeah.
We've been there, done that, got the t-shirt, right? What do you think about that?
Got the t-shirt, been there and done it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So it's adjusting and just being adaptable and agile and things like that. So normally what I do with the Cyber Show is I go through some cybersecurity tips, but because you're such a rock star, I want to like skip the cybersecurity tips for this episode. I want to dedicate the full time to you tonight. Because this is a business room. This is a business success profile, so I want to dedicate the full time to you. So I want you to talk about your experience as an entrepreneur and as a veteran, and what tips make you successful in business and in life and as a family man.
Okay, man, that's a mouthful. What would you like to know?
Start off as a veteran. Okay,
so what do you want me to talk about? Just how I came to that, or here's and wow, I feel honored to be on the Cyber Show with you, and for just to be able to share that. Let's see, I grew up in a small town in southern Illinois, and after high school, I joined the Army. Spent 25 years in the U.S. Army, thank you, and finishing as a career counselor. What that is a person that helps people to find the right fit, whatever it is, whatever area it is. If it's the right job, I helped them with that. If it was the right location, I helped them with that. And sometimes even if whatever the task or whatever the individual's role was with the military, if they just wanted to come and sit in my office and eat some of the candy out of my candy dish and just have a conversation, a lot of times it was that. But what I got to be good at was establishing and building and cultivating relationships with people, regardless of what your profession. And I had some cyber folks who, came in who talked with. I had signal folks. I had engineers. I had all kinds of people in all kinds of different areas, some HR folks and other things that I dealt with and that I helped to retain in their organizations. And it was a great experience. So 25 and a half years of my life spent in the U.S. military. I have 3 combat deployments to Iraq. I've spent a year living abroad in Seoul, which was a great experience in the military. My lovely wife, Cece, and I, we have 5 daughters, and we have traveled with them around the world. But when it was time for me to take off my boots and retire from military, I saw an opportunity to establish, a business model with the intent of helping veterans to find employment. Because what happens is when it's time for, folks to transition out of the military, there's a need for them to have a good place to land when they exit the military. And I myself was involved in the process of, trying to find the right fit for myself. And I said, well, that's something that I think I can help other people to do also. And so that's what, kind of started me down the entrepreneurial space. And then but I became curious about an event that happened, in Nashville. And the gentleman who was there was JT Fox. Now, I went to the event out of curiosity because I didn't know who he was. I just saw an ad in Facebook. And while I was at that event, I learned very quickly that I needed a coach, that if I was going to be successful, I learned very quickly that I needed someone to hold me accountable for some of the stuff that I was doing. And so I hired him to become my coach, and that's been some years ago now.
Wow.
And, he was talking to me about my business, and he was like, Derek, you actually need to go with me to South Africa because there's a lot of people who need to hear your story. And he said, man, you would do very well there. Your story would resonate with a lot of people. I was somewhat apprehensive about, not necessarily about going to South Africa, but apprehensive about, sharing my story internationally if it would resonate with people. Because, I'm a guy from the US and I had traveled some, but I hadn't traveled, as extensively as I would come to travel. But anyway, I took him up on it and I went to South Africa and I presented to an audience of over 1,800 entrepreneurs, business owners, real estate folks, everybody from every arena in different industries and areas of business. And JT actually interviewed me on stage and asked me some questions about my perspective in business. And at the end of it, he became so impressed that it was about 4 days after that week that I was on my way home from South Africa and I get a call and it's JT Fox. And he's like, hey man, what are you doing? And I was like, well, coach, I'm on the plane. I'm headed home. He said, okay, well, let's talk. Call me when you land. And so I landed in Atlanta on a connecting flight back to Nashville from South Africa. And I called him, when I was like, had a little bit of a layover, and he was like, hey, here's what I'm thinking. He said, I'm thinking that you become my chief of staff and travel with me, and it's going to be great. My stages will become your stages. You'll monetize relationships. You'll do all of these great things. And it was really great. So for about a year and a half, I traveled with JT Fox as his chief of staff.
That's awesome.
I shared his stages and I was able to help a lot of people. And Cheri, over that time, I myself, along with JT and the team, traveled to 33 countries and 91 cities on 5 continents.
Wow.
Sharing with audiences around the world how to actually build, grow, or expand their business. And it was a great experience. Taught me a lot about business. I was able to learn from man himself, and you don't hang around JT Fox for long without having to learn something, and not to say that, I was completely clueless on dealing with people, but this was a world that I knew very little about because I was in the military and I didn't have the opportunity to be in the business sector. But that changed very quickly for me when I went on the road with JT Fox because, hey man, he's been, in business, for a while, and he's coached some of the world's most successful people. He's friends with the most, successful people in the world, and he is the #1 wealth and business coach in the world, one of the top speakers. And so all of these things, and he took me around the world with him, put me on his stages, and I'm all the better for it. So it was my honor to do that, and my honor to help folks with that. So
from combat boots to a different type of deployment around the world with JT.
Yeah, it was. Sometimes we were in one city in one country one day. I'd get up at 5 or 5:30, get my workout on. We'd start the event in one city from early morning, and we end the event at about 7, maybe 7:30. Then we make a dash to the cars, to the Uber or whatever, and make a dash to the airport, catch our flight to the next city and country, and land there, and actually get to the airport in just enough time to just, get our stuff checked in and roll into the gate and get in our seat and fly to the next location. We land at the next location and, do it again, get the Uber, get to the hotel at about 10, 11 o'clock that night, go to sleep, get up the next morning and do it all over again. So,
I remember hearing on the 365 series, a Millionaire 365 and JT's 365 about some of those experiences about the Uber and the nicknames that JT has for people, and then this trip and that trip and where he's going to be, and like a day here or an hour there and this event and that event. And I can remember hearing some of those stories. And it sounded like a really, really fascinating way to roll, especially with the man himself. So that's like chief of staff.
Yeah.
That couldn't have been a better segue into the civilian world as a transition, and from going from combat boots to, the shoe leather. And it sounds like you hit a lot of shoe leather through the airports that first year.
A lot of shoe leather. I wore down a lot of shoe leather. And I pride myself on, on being, dressed as well as I can, and I take care of my clothes and take care of my, my shirts and ironing and all of that, and I try to be as crisp as a cucumber as much as I can.
But especially doing the bag drag.
Oh, man.
That's really hard doing the bag drag to be crisp.
And the duffel bag drag, you have to be really a person who is just, able to grab the bag and go, so none of this, I need to check my bag. No, you better have it with you. And you do that drag on through the airport, drag, and meaning the duffel bag drag. I know you understand, but for those of your viewers who don't know what the duffel bag drag is, it's, when you got your bags and you're dragging it, because they're telling you, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. And the only thing you can do is drag your duffel bag.
I hear you.
Yeah, but no, I never checked the bag, when I was on the road, because I didn't want something to happen to it. Because let's say you check your bag and your suits are in there and ties and all that stuff, and then you get to the next location and heaven forbid something happens to your bag, and then you're stuck in, jeans and a t-shirt for the next event. That's no good.
That's not a good look. No.
No, it's not a good look. You can actually, lose money on deals by, not being, dressed accordingly. So I never did check a bag for that reason. And it ended up being good. Knock on wood. I don't believe I'll never ever have to check a bag. But if I do, better be careful to make sure I get insurance on everything, and then I'm looking them in the eye to say, hey, this is my bag and I want it when we land.
Right. What I hear you saying, Derek, is like you're very agile and very adaptable. That's like a skill you had in the military, and you had to be that way on the road as JT's staff. So very adaptable and agile. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, Cheri, you have to. You absolutely have to be. So that's my, whatever my 5-minute spiel on my military
Okay.
Time and time of traveling with JT.
In your transition. Okay. Well, as a family man, what do you think is most successful? What would you tell my audience on things that make you successful in life as a human being? What are your most important values, Derek?
Well, I'll tell you first that one of the main things that make me so successful is my wife, Cece.
Oh.
As a human being, I was able to be successful the way that I was over the years in the military and even traveling because I have a great wife who, of course, when I'm gone, does everything that needs to be done. And even when I'm home, she, runs everything, that needs to be done. So I couldn't do all of the stuff and look as good as I, do without the love and support of my wife and my kids. So they make it all worth it and make it worth being gone when I come home and I get to be in the room, be at home with them. So that within itself makes it all worth it. Now, as far as my values are concerned, family man, I love people, love life, and I think that shows, whenever I'm, out and we're at events and I see you and I see the other folks, who we're connected with. And, I just love it, love being a part of great organizations and love helping good people to grow because that's what this is about. It's about growth. It's about achieving, yes, but it's also about growth. And that's what life is about to me.
All right, cool. I really like that. So Cece's like the wind beneath your wings is what I hear you saying.
Yeah, she lets me fly.
Wings.
Yeah, she lets me fly.
Definitely somebody you want in the foxhole with you, right?
There you go. Definitely. Absolutely. Yeah.
So it's important to have good friends and family support and allies. And so in terms of alliances, when you're doing business, what do you look for in terms of strategic alliances if you pursue those now? And I was going to ask you, what does your next year look like? Things used to be 5-year plans. I know in the military, 5-year plans. Now it's kind of like a 1-year plan. What do you see next year?
Yeah, there's a lot of things, and what we've learned, even from our pandemic that we faced, is that a lot of things that it was thought that could not be done remotely or from home. A lot of people are finding that yes, you can actually do that now. You and I are speaking via Zoom. We probably wouldn't have been speaking via Zoom, a couple of months back. Yeah, a few months ago. So all of those things. So what's in the future for me is right now I'm encouraging, even my clients to be prepared for what's going to happen next. Don't just sit and wait for when they say we can go back to this or we can go back to that. Don't just sit and wait for that. You need to be preparing yourself so that when it's time, whatever, sense of normalcy that we go back to or go to, I don't know if we'll ever go back to, what we had. But be ready, be ready for it. And, even when we were out on the road, oftentimes when we were saying hello to folks, we weren't shaking hands and all of that. We were doing the fist bumps. Hey, how you doing? You know what I mean?
Yeah, even then, yes.
Yeah, even then, because, not everybody washes their hands, Cheri.
True.
Depending
where you are in the world, yes.
Yeah, depending on where you are in the world, not a lot of people wash their, and so it's, and I don't do a whole lot of handshaking with men because I know that a lot of men, I see them. I know a lot of them don't wash their hands. You
just getting them to put the lid on the seat back down. Yeah, that's my pet peeve.
Yeah, I hear
We're talking personal stuff now.
Yeah, I mean, so I know that not a lot of them, you can put that up, not a lot of them do that. So I'm careful. Yeah.
Is that Cece?
No, I'm speaking to one of my girls. Yeah.
Oh, I was going to say, put her on and say hi.
Oh, no. Yeah, she's up doing some other stuff. Thanks, sweetie. One of my girls was traveling through the room there. Yeah. So I got my office here and, we're all at home. So,
yes, exactly. Obviously, I'm home. Yeah.
Be quiet, and we're in meetings and stuff. And on the phone all the time. So that's one of the great things that they do for me too, is they let me have my time, and you know, so whenever I have conversations or stuff to be had. So, but getting back to, to all of the stuff that we need to do, the strategic alliances that we need to form are with people that you wouldn't necessarily think that you need to form alliances or friendships with. In many cases, Cheri, the people that we, before all of this hit, wouldn't have necessarily talked to, I think it's time to talk to some of those people. I think it's really time to get in touch with the people you hadn't talked to in a long time and say, hey, this is me. Just, I know we haven't talked in a while, but look, things are changing. The world has changed. We don't know what tomorrow might bring. Hey, let's start talking again. What's been going on with you? Wow, you got 2 kids? Wow, you got, or, whoa, your kid's in college now? Oh my goodness, wow.
Time flies.
Reaching out to people. It's the people who know you, like you, trust you, that you should probably, recultivate those relationships and friendships. I learned a lesson a long time ago that if all things were equal, people will do business with and refer business to those people, though, that they know, like, and trust. But all things have to be equal, though. Meaning, if there are 2 widget sellers in the room, one sells widgets, for, let's say, $1. The other sells widgets for $1. They're both widgets and they're both being sold for $1. So those things are equal. So how do you differentiate between the 2 widget sellers? Well, this widget seller, I know this person. I like this person and I trust this person. But this widget seller, don't really know that person. So can't really say that I like him or that I trust him. So all things being equal, people doing business with those that they know, like, and trust, then, those are the people that are going to get it. So you may not think that it makes a difference, right now, but in the long game, relationships is how it's made. Relationships is how you get business done, and how you move the needle for yourself where it matters.
That's great advice. I had actually reached out to a colonel I used to work for at the Pentagon a few years back, like actually 2008, 2010. We've been in touch on LinkedIn throughout the years, just private messages here and there, and comment on a post every now and then. I'd seen a post that she'd posted several days ago and reached out to her. And we were actually going to talk and record something Friday. And then I was at my dad's, for Father's Day. I spent the weekend out there and we had really bad Wi-Fi. So it didn't work. So we were scheduled for this week. But her name's Colonel G.I. And I should probably introduce you to her because she works at the VA and she's also an entrepreneur. And she has, her name's Biz Lady. So I'll introduce you to Colonel G.I. She's real sharp too.
Hey, and that's what it's about too.
Introductions.
If there's a second thing, it's introductions.
I'll introduce you to her.
Yeah. So cultivating relationships are great. And then secondly, introductions, having people who can introduce you to their friends, because it's great to have friends and friends of friends to do business with. And I think it's a really strong way to do it. And having a warm introduction is better than a cold one. Now, I'm not against, a cold call, here and there, but it's the warm introductions that make it really worth it, to make it really nice. So, yeah.
They're cool for that. Another funny thing about this weekend at Dad's for Father's Day weekend, I was out there. I spent the whole weekend. The folks who live there at his house had gone away for a beach trip, so he was there by himself. So I went over a little bit early, and we were planning for them to come back home. And because they'd been to the beach, the sand and all. Long story short, Derek, we knew they'd have laundry to do. So I'm recording a Zoom meeting, a different meeting. I actually found a very small snippet of about 7 minutes of good connectivity. So I was recording something, and then Dad comes by. He Zoom bombs me in a different way. He voice bombs me. He comes by and says, "The dryer's done." I didn't tell him I was recording. "The dryer's done." And I just kind of chuckled and I kept on going. And a few minutes later, he pokes his head in. I look, and there he is. Your clothes are done. I left it like that, and I don't think I'm going to edit that part out because it was so priceless that Dad, on Father's Day weekend, Dad voice bombed my Zoom session. I only got 7 good minutes. Should I leave it in or should I take it out? It was funny. It was funny.
I mean, it is funny. Yeah. I mean, I had the moment there, with my my daughter was trying her hardest not to make noise. I just said no, just go ahead. It's fine.
So that's what happens when we're all at home or working from remotely. But I think more people are going to be doing this remote stuff in the future, more remote work, telework.
Yeah, we're all at home, and I will
I
will say that oftentimes, and this is what I wear whenever I'm doing business anywhere else. And so if I'm doing business in person, I'm going to be wearing a suit and tie. Mm-hmm. So if I'm here and I'm working and I'm taking meetings and doing calls and stuff, I'm going to be in a suit and tie also because it's professional. Yeah. And I've had people to say, well, hey, buddy, are you wearing a total suit? And I'm like, yes, I'm wearing a
it's not the shorts.
No, not the shorts underneath or nothing like that. No, it's not, business on top or party on the bottom. It's a full suit. It's like
full suit.
Yeah. It's like no, I don't roll that way.
I wouldn't expect that from you, no.
No, it's business.
And it looks like Sunday Gold tie too. Is that the Sunday Gold?
Yeah, it's one of the iterations of the JT Fox tie. This is a newer one in the JT Fox
logo.
Yeah. So it has the stripes to it. So
I like that.
It became a preferred tie of us out there on the road. So I love it. So JT's got some sharp ties.
It looks really good, and I like that he auctions them off for charity at his events.
Yeah. It's a great thing there. Great thing.
So do you think, Derek? How are we doing for time? Are you still good for another few minutes?
I just got a few more minutes. I just had a buzz that to come in. I've got another call coming up, but I'm still good for a few more minutes. What you got?
I was just going to ask you, do you think that you will ever want to go back on the road again like that? Because as you said, you've been there, done that, got the T-shirt. Do you ever think you'd want to host your own events or do something like that in the future, or virtual events? What's your vision?
That's an interesting question. I'll never say never. I do have coaching clients and clients that I coach with now, and I do help folks, so I'm not averse to traveling. So, what you have in mind? You want to invite me to something?
Well, I was thinking about doing a virtual summit. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I was thinking about doing a virtual cybersecurity summit or virtual business summit. And having like a succession where it's very focused, it's laser focused, and to replace the in-person events. But I'd want it to be very topical and win-win for everybody involved. So obviously good value to the audience as you've given tonight, and want it to be something to help promote your business as well.
Cheri,
and so we
can absolutely do that. Yes, if you
want to summit.
If you want to invite me to something like that, I'm open to it.
Okay, that sounds great.
I mean, we're all here, and even if it's something that, in the future that they'll let us get out and outside of our home for, I'll travel to you. If they let us open it all up and you do it, that's too easy. This is what I'm saying that we need to start doing now, is coordinating with one another. Those of us who know the gifts and talents and abilities of other people that are in the network, who are friends and even friends of friends. Let's start putting some of this together. I don't mind doing that. I'm open to it anytime. And I'm not just saying that because you're interviewing me on your show. You can contact me anytime, and if I can help you, I'll help you. Of course, I won't talk about the, all the logistics of it, but, all things considered and logistically, if all of it works out and everything, I don't mind doing that.
In Nashville to Charlotte, I'm thinking if it's in person, I'm thinking Charlotte, North Carolina area.
Not far. It's only a puddle jump, I'll take
puddle jumper.
All
right, well, that sounds great. Well, I'm going to noodle on that a little bit and see what I can come up with, whether it's a virtual and or in person. And I'm just kind of playing things by ear between Governor Cooper in North Carolina and our governor in South Carolina, opening up the state again, phase 3.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, I've been wanting to get down to Charlotte for a while too. I wanted to do some things there in the city there. So that might give me an opportunity to do that.
Awesome. That sounds great, Derek. Well, hey, we appreciate you being on. But two things. Before you go, I'd like for you to tell people how they can get in touch with you if they want to collaborate or
Sure.
hire you as a coach. And then last closing thoughts on anything about life or business.
Sure. Well, I mean, you can reach out to me on Facebook, Derek Eurales Jr. You can, just hit me up there, send me a note. That's probably the quickest and easiest way to get a hold of me, to contact me, because I'm checking, my social media often, and it is me. I actually do check my social media. It's not someone else. I'm not that big yet to where I got to have somebody, checking my social media and replying as me. No, it's me. I do I do all of that. So you can reach me there.
Okay, and I'm going to spell that for people. So most of the people on Millionaire Flicks know you, but this might also be syndicated other places with the lead back to Millionaire Flicks. So I'm going to spell that for the folks. It's Derek.
Absolutely.
There you go. Jetstar. There you go. Perfect. That's even better. I should have known you had your own mug. Jetstar, DJ.
Yeah, Serena Carly actually sent me this mug, and since I'm on your show, I'll take the opportunity to do it because she created a little funny little thing with me and JT.
Oh, Serena is a hoot. I've actually hired her to do her and Jared. I've hired her and Jared to do some of my stuff. That is awesome.
Serena
Where's the business class, DJ?
yeah. So I drink from this, and in honor of Serena and them.
Serena.
Serena,
okay, and for folks,
I am using the cup.
There you go. So Serena's gonna love it. I'll be talking to her later tonight, also on their midnight show.
You tell her you had me on your show, and then I was using the mug. Yeah.
And so for the folks who might be getting the audio clip only, Derek, I'm going to spell it. It's DEREKEURALES Jr. on Facebook.
There you go. They can reach
the video
out
and the audio version. I want to make sure you're covered.
Yeah, and when you reach out to me, tell me that you heard me on Cheri's show, and that would be great. That would be awesome.
Yeah, they're not too many people that are cyber nerds that have the cyber show, so I think they'll probably remember that, but you never know.
Every little bit helps, and it helps to have friends in different places. I've got friends in cyber places. Whatever it is.
Any closing thoughts? Did you like to leave our audience with, Derek?
Thank you for that. I'll just close with whatever your goal is, whatever your aspirations are, whatever it is that you want to accomplish, put your own activity towards accomplishing your goals, and be willing not only to put your activity to it, but be willing to put your hard-earned money to it. And here's what I mean. I'm successful, yes. Cheri is successful, yes. It's obvious. But we didn't get there by ourselves. The one thing that we decided to do is that we wanted today and every day after to be better than yesterday, every day, and each day before. And what that entails is getting a coach. You don't know what you don't know. Yes, you can see right in front of you everything that you're doing, but it's a coach who can see that 1,000-foot view and take that 1,000-foot look at what's going on in your life and help you to make the adjustments that you need to make that you're not necessarily seeing. So you don't always see what you need to do. A coach will. And a coach will tell you what you want to hear. But a coach tells you what you need to hear. And when you listen to the advice of a coach, it will make the difference. But you've got to make the decision that you're going to do that. And once you make that decision, once you decide, and once you take action and put your action where your decision has propelled you to, then it'll make the difference for you. So if I had to give you any final or closing thoughts, is if you want to be better, then you need to put your hands in the yourself or your career or your business and all of your ideas and your goals in the hands of a coach. And I know Cheri to be one of those.
There you go. All right. Well, thanks so much, Derek. Appreciate your advice and tips and life lessons. It's been very informative and very entertaining as well. Enjoyed laughing with you about some things back in the day, the bag drag and all.
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
It's been awesome.
Yeah, we didn't talk about MREs, the meals ready to eat, but yeah, the bag drag's enough. That's a whole nother show.
That's a whole nother subject.
A whole nother show talking about those things. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like every time I go, friends always ask me about the MREs, but I love the MREs that had the M&Ms in it. Just so you know.
Those were good. Yeah.
I don't think they have them anymore, but those were kind of my ones that I look for.
Favorites. All right. Well, thanks again, Derek. I appreciate it. Again, folks, you can find him at Derek Eurales on Facebook, DerekEurales Jr. And thanks for stopping by the Cyber Show. We will catch you on the flip side.
All right, Cheri, catch you on the flip side.